MenyetAnkhEnMaat. Just put my glasses on here for a second. So, I've been having like a lot of different conversations with different people, and one, I was supposed to be doing these videos more often, but I kind of obviously, like many people, get sidetracked with everything else going on. So, the topic for my video today is talking about just Kemeticism for beginners, for people who are new to the Afro-Kemetic legacy. Pretty much just giving a couple of tools, recommended books, spiritual tools, things like that, to just get people started. I know it can be kind of difficult because, a lot of people are watching different YouTubers and bloggers and things like that. And a lot of times people concentrate purely on the historical elements. They concentrate on the which religious traditions started first or not or whatever. So I figured, and especially after getting a question the other day, I said, you know what, it's something that's been on my mind already. Let me just get out there and do that. So I'm going to start with spiritual books. These are books that I'm like reading, going back and forth between my notes. The first few books I'm going to talk about are really talking about the spiritual beliefs and practices, just to kind of like give insight into what being a practicing Kemite is. So the first book that I generally recommend is this one, Art of Prayer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is backwards. So I don't know how to unbackwards it. But I'll put it on my blog later. But The Art of Prayer, this is written by Nswt, Biti, Sankhu, Kheper. Now this is an old, or some of my books are kind of old and well used, so please don't mind that. But I recommend this book for a couple of reasons. So the first reason why I would recommend this book is because it does have different prayers and things for you to use. It explains, like, if you're going to pray over your food, what are different prayers you can use for that. If somebody passes away, what are different prayers for that? It talks about daily prayers. So there is a daily prayer that, I'm trying to find the page, I should have had it marked. But there is a daily prayer called Du'a'u, and generally speaking, at least with the Temple of Anu, we do Du'a'u 4 times a day. So it has drawings, it has the Medu-Neter, and then it also has like what it means in English, and it goes through like the different postures and things like that. It also talks about, just in general, the importance of prayer, just why prayer is important in general, stuff like that. So as a practicing Kemite, again, as I said before, a lot of people will concentrate on the history and what's going on, but they don't necessarily talk about, like, well, what are you supposed to do in 2018? So that's why this one is my first recommendation. My next recommendation is Egyptian Cosmology. This is by Mustafa Gadalla. And I recommend this book, one, because his books are very easy to read. And I also like the way he breaks everything down. So oftentimes when you are doing readings, you will notice that a lot of the Greek names are used. And just obviously, if we are calling ourselves Kemites or Afro-Kemetic practitioners, or whatever kind of synonym you're using, you want to use the original indigenous Kemetic language, or you want to use Medu-Neter. So that's what Mustafa Gadalla does, where he will say here is an example. Again, it's going to be backwards, but I'm sorry. But he will say Nswt, and then right next to it, Isis. So I remember being a beginner that a lot of times the names, because I wasn't as familiar with all of the names, that it would take me a while. So reading his books, it was nice because it was like training myself to get acclimated to the names. So when it comes to this particular, I'm like looking for the table of contents here. The way he breaks down this particular book, he's talking about just what the basic beliefs were. He breaks down like kind of like the numerology and the importance of like how the Kemites used that divine science. He talks about the different creation stories. He goes through, you know, why they were like that. He talks about the Neteru in general, like breaks down what Neteru are, breaks down what animism is, just in general. He does a really good job of just breaking it down, and it's a very simple, easy read. I want to say each chapter is no more than 5 pages. So if you literally just wanted to commit to reading maybe a chapter or two a night, or if you're the type of person who you start reading and you fall asleep fast, you could at least get through at least 1 or 2 chapters. So again, I like that one. The next one, it's another Mustafa Gadalla book, Egyptian Divinities. I wish you would have put like Kemetic Divinities, but you know, can't say. Which book? I'm sorry, I'm like reading comments. So, Naja Unique, which book were you talking about? The first, the second, or this is the third one? So I'll put them all up after I do this one. I'll put up all 3. So this one I like because, again, it's very simple and easy the way he breaks it down, but this one really just gets into the various Neteru. So, okay. This one is talking about, like, it starts the all who, or the one who is all, and then it talks about, it kind of goes over the creation story a little bit again. So the cycle of the Neteru, the pre-dawn Neteru, so Nun and Nunet, Het and Hehet, Ket and Keket, Amen and Amenet, like, you know, those pre-dynastic, like the early Neteru. Then it gets into Ma'at and Ra, and it just, he does a really good job of breaking down their qualities, what they represent, and not just in that Egyptology kind of way where they'll say, hey, Anubis, or as we say, Empu, Anubis was brings people to the afterlife, and that's it. So it's just like, as a Kemetic practitioner in 2018, that's not really helping me or giving me further insight. So again, I like the way he gives the insight, breaks down the different Neteru for beginners. Again, this video is all about like beginners and just a starting point in general. So again, this is the third book, Egyptian Divinities, The All Who Are the One by Mustafa Gadalla. The second one was Egyptian Cosmology by Mustafa Gadalla. And then we got Art of Prayer by Sankhu Kheper. So all of these all of these books are available, I know, on Amazon. Obviously, I would say please look for them at a local bookstore or a local minority-owned Black business or something like that would be great. But if you can't, then Amazon is good. All right, so my next group of books, again, I'm trying to like keep it concise, so these are 3. I'm doing wisdom texts now. So we started off with what does it mean to be a Kemite? What does that look like? What are the beliefs? Now the second group of books are really just, okay, now that I feel like this is for me, what are some of the wisdom texts? How am I supposed to live my life? So I chose, so the first one is Egyptian Proverbs. This is by Muada Ashby. This book is good because, one, if you're familiar like with people of other religious traditions, they're easily able to just off the top of their head talk about, just quote things out of the Bible or out of the Torah or out of the Tanakh or out of the Quran or something. So as Kemites, you know, we study, we do that too. So I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot. I just realized that. So this book, if you look at the table of contents, it talks about integrity, honor, behavior, immaturity, truth, prosperity, evolution, fortitude, relationship between man and woman, justice, light and dark, wealth, sharing, giving, and happiness, speech. I'm like skipping down. But it's just, it's nice when, if you have a certain topic on your mind. It's nice if you know, you're trying to concentrate on something specifically, that he has different proverbs and you can just turn. So it's like, on service, the wise one serves the higher planes and rule the lowers. In this way, one operates the laws instead of being a slave to them. So again, if I'm thinking about selflessness or just serving humankind or whatever, it's just the way he breaks it down is very easy to understand, and it's real quick, just something you can use, you could study, meditate on it, something like that. So again, this one's really quick. This one again, Egyptian Proverbs by Muwatta Ashby. All right, the next one is the Husia. The Husia is written or compiled. None of them are written by these people, but they're edited and compiled by these people. So Dr. Maulana Karenga put this one together. I use this one a lot. I feel like in the beginning, when I first converted to being a Chem, I used Proverbs a lot, and now I use this one, but I use a couple others too. But again, this video is for beginners. I could get into that at another time. So the reason why I like this one is because it breaks it down into wise instruction, contemplation, declaration of virtues, the books of rising like Ra, and then it has certain selections. So like it has wisdom by Ptah-Hotep, by Keti, by Ani, by Fibor. It has a bunch of different types of just different things. So when you break it down, and I do have this one on my blog, not to say that you shouldn't buy it. Me personally, I really like writing and highlighting and making notes for myself. I'm not very much into digital books that much, but if you are, I do have a PDF copy of this on my blog. So if you just wanted to look through it, if you weren't sure if you wanted to buy it, I have that. So again, just an example of something out of this book. This is, oh my goodness. So this is the book of Ptah-Hotep. Be not arrogant because of your knowledge. I don't want to throw shade, so I won't. But a lot of people in the Kemetic, or not even Kemetic, in the conscious community could use this wisdom. Be not arrogant because of your knowledge. Take counsel with the ignorant as well as the wise. For the limits of knowledge in any field have never been set, and no one has ever reached them. Wisdom is rarer than emeralds, and yet it is found among the women who gather at the grindstones. So, again, this one, depending on, it's similar to the Egyptian Proverbs. This one, it breaks down according to what you're looking for, and it's very relatable as far as living and how you should live your life. Finally, we've got the Hermetica. So I like this one. Again, now that I've been Kemetic for almost like 10 years now, this one I don't refer to as much, but in the beginning I did a lot. And when it comes to notes and things like that, oh, this is my newer one. I have two of these, sorry. But this one I don't have my notes in it. But anyway, so it talks about contemplating creation, circle of time, the Neteru, the hierarchy of creation, the birth of human culture, zodiac and destiny. I know, generally speaking, I would always concentrate on like the end part of the books. in this one. So death and immortality, ignorance of the soul, knowledge of a tomb, rebirth, secret teachings. Those were kind of the areas, because I remember at that time I was looking for like, well, what is all this about, and what am I doing? Where am I going? You know, what's really important? What should I kind of get rid of as far as distractions are concerned? So I concentrated on that in particular. So yeah, so this is the third one, the Hermetica. It is put together by Timothy Frecky, I'm not sure, and Peter Gandy. So there's another one I know, again, on Amazon. All three of these are available on Amazon. You don't have to buy it from Amazon. I'm just saying that's the easiest place to find it. And the cover is different. It's like a tan and red cover, so it's not necessarily this one. All right, moving on. So now, again, as a beginner, you know what being, or not, you don't know everything, but you know a good majority of like what it means to be a Kemite, what it looks like, you know what the beliefs are. Now, if you wanted to get into the spiritual aspect, as far as just different basic tools. So the first tool that I obviously would recommend would be to get yourself a quartz crystal. I don't know, does that matter? They do that in those makeup videos. So getting yourself a quartz crystal. I recommend this just again because if you're a beginner, quartz crystal is a great beginner crystal. It's supposed to be, I'm again looking at my notes, expanding consciousness, facilitating open communication, stimulating your different arits or your chakras. If you need clarity of mind in general, it eliminates energy blockages and allows energy to kind of flow more freely. So again, if you're a beginner, you definitely want to do this to try to just kind of start your journey with. The next I would say would be essential oils. So generally I prefer to use the Young Living brand. But you can go to Vitamin Shop, they have essential oils. You can go to Whole Foods, they have essential oils. You can buy them off of Amazon if you really have to. There are all different types of brands, but you just want to make sure that it's the therapeutic grade essential oil instead of, I think it's just for scenting your house or something like that. But that's the one you would want to use. So the first one I would recommend, I got the wrong one. And this particular brand you can get at Vitamin Shop. So first I would say is peppermint. Peppermint is supposed to just open you up, give you clarity and focus. So if you're going into your spiritual work, peppermint will assist you as far as just opening up and focusing on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Now on the other end of the spectrum, this one is French lavender. You don't necessarily have to have French lavender, just lavender in general will be helpful. This is if you are going to your altar, you are in distress, or you are confused, or you are, you're just in an emotional state. So and you just need that clarity. I would say use both, but this is to kind of like calm you down. You can put it on the bottom of your feet, and when you're using these essential oils, you can like rub it on your temples, rub the back of your neck, that type of thing. And yeah, so lavender, again, depending on where you are in your beginning, you might be coming out of distress. I mean, let's be real here. A lot of times when things are going great, things are great, but sometimes things aren't so great, and you just kind of need you need that little assistance to help you calm down and kind of just help you out, so you can get whatever messages or miracles that it is you're looking for when you approach your altar. So the next thing I would say is I am a big believer in candles, and and using candles, whether it be in meditation, whether it be in doing my work in general, just overall, I thoroughly enjoy the peace that candles bring, the glow that they bring, but also to help me focus on something. So for beginners, I recommend, I don't have this, I burned mine and I need to buy another one because I usually, this is a nectar candle. This is the unscented version. Me personally, I like scented version candles. It's kind of like aromatherapy and the candle all in one. So I recommend the nectar candle, again, just because it's general. It has the white color to kind of just help you dispel whatever it is that's going on. And again, it's a great starting point. So you got this one, or again, the unscented version. That can be found at templeanew.org in their shop. And they do shipping, so it's not like you have to do anything. If you just wanted a regular white candle and write glyphs on it, you can do that. Just be very careful with candles, because obviously, and as I learned in the past, sometimes if you're really going in with your spiritual work, Netter will come along and just be like, yes, and things can catch on fire. So please be careful when you're using incense, candles, etc. It can be a little scary to see how powerful spirit can come through. So just be careful. So speaking of incense, the beginner incense I would recommend would be frankincense and myrrh. This is made by the Hem brand. Now I know a lot of people don't necessarily like this brand, but again, if you're a beginner, you'll find which brands work for you. You'll find which ones kind of work with you. So, but again, as a beginner, you can find this at most stores. So you can see it. You can find it at most spiritual shops, botanicas, things like that. Again, Amazon if you need. So frankincense and myrrh, they're supposed to be healing. They're supposed to help emotionally, vibrationally, and spiritually. So again, when you're setting up your first altar, which that'll be a whole nother video, but when you set up your altar, when you set up your sacred space, having the candle, having the incense, having the smells, having all of these different things kind of help facilitate that connection, but then it also kind of just puts you in the space. So there's a saying, it's like when you're praying, you're talking to the Most High or Netter, but when you're meditating, then you're listening and receiving those answers that you're looking for. So if that's what you are doing, and then, having all of these things, they're all just tools. You don't have to have them. But again, as a beginner, or just like me personally, my preference is there are just certain things that help me connect faster and easier. Trying to think also, what else is there? A living plant. So you'll see I got my aloe plant, and then I have a succulent over here. So again, you want to bring in Geb, you want to bring the earth into that. And then also, if you're doing libations, it gives you a place to pour your libations to your ancestors. You want a copy of the 42. So I have that right there. That is it. Ooh, you can't see it now, it's dark, I'm sorry. So if you need a copy of the 42 Tepra and Ma'at, they are found on this website. It's called livingkemetic.com, and it has the Meju Semeniket and Sheti, which is the 10 virtues of an initiate. Ooh, I'm sorry, I got something on the screen. So it looks like this. And then it also has the 42, Tepra and Ma'at. So when you scroll, it has the morning version, I will not, and then the evening version, I have not. So I plan on doing a version of the 42 and putting it on YouTube. Just recording myself reading the different 42 and the 10 virtues of an initiate, simply because I am in my car all the time, and I just feel like when I'm at my altar, sometimes, and it's like, one of those things as a Kemite, you're like, oh, I don't want to say that because I want to be perfect, and this kind of thing. And I just feel like, let's be honest here. sometimes in 2018 you don't have the time to just sit and do every single thing, like, and it's fine. It's just, for me, I look at it as, let me find another way so that I can stay on track. So that's why for me, like for dua'u, sometimes if I wake up late, because I work 2 jobs, I work from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8:30 at night every day, and it just gets hard to try to wake up and get everything done, or stay up late and get everything done, and then I'm just tired and exhausted. So sometimes I'll listen to dua'u, and I'll listen to it in the car. And that's the same thing with the 42 Chapra and Ma'at. Like, in my mind, like, I have a copy of the 42 and I put it on my front door. So I look at it as soon as I leave the house, and when I come home, it's right there. I also have another copy of it in my bathroom, so it's right under my mirror. So as I'm sitting there brushing my teeth, I'm looking through it. But there are some days that, you know, it's there, but I don't read all the way through it. So hence why I want to record it, put it on YouTube. I don't mind if y'all want to watch it too, that's fine. But it's just this idea of, it's something that's there, and I can listen to it and just say, okay, I did this, I didn't, you know, and do that mental reflection. But again, if you wanted to go on the website, print your own out, you know, find what works for you. I'm trying to see. Finally, one loose-fitting white, all-white outfit. Preferably linen. If you can't, that's fine too. It's just the idea, like right now I'm doing a live video. I'm not necessarily doing my spiritual work, so I'm not wearing all white right now. I'm sorry, I just started reading the comments. So, Soul Digital, if I need someone to edit the dialogue for the video, I guess, maybe, I don't know, maybe one day. Thank you for the offer, though. I appreciate that. So just so I can wrap it up, because my intention was to keep this video relatively short. The final thing, I think, as a beginning Kemite, you wanna know what you're doing. You wanna have the basic tools. You wanna have the basic wisdom texts. So that's what we've gone over so far. But you also kind of want to, like, you know, you're getting the mental, the spiritual, but what about the physical? So when it comes to the physical, there are 2 cleanses that I've done before personally that really, really worked. So the first one, we have Life Strength Health. They are a local holistic center. They are located in, I believe, South Plainfield, New Jersey. They do a lot of podcasts. They do a lot of virtual work. So if you're not in New Jersey, they utilize the platform Zoom, and you can do sessions with them like that. It's really good. Actually, we're doing a cleanse, a friend of mine and we're doing a cleanse from them to start off the new year. And it's going to be interesting, because I'm usually not a fan of juice cleanses, but I just feel like, and if you've been on the internet, apparently 2018 has been pretty rough for a lot of people, and I'm just in that category. So I figured, you know what, going into 2019, I want to make sure I set my goals, set my intentions. I'll be working on a vision board starting most likely tonight to add to my work. But also physically, how am I getting my physical body to match where I'm trying to go mentally, spiritually, emotionally? So Life Strength Health Detox, they usually have seasonal detoxes. But if you don't want to use those, you can just contact them directly. And then the second cleanse that I've used before, I did a Queen Afua cleanse. And that was the first cleanse I had ever done. And I loved it. Not only did I feel like I lost weight, but I also felt like much more light and things like that. But the only difference is the preparation, because it's a lot of juicing. And again, for me, with my schedule, even though I get up already at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, I still don't have time to do all of my spiritual work and do all the meal prep and do, and when it comes to juicing, it's one of those things that you cannot do just, on Sunday and then ration it out, because you want those live enzymes, if you will. I'm not good with my vocabulary in that arena, but you want the live benefits of what it is you're juicing. So you can't do it ahead of time, otherwise it won't have the same effect for you. And then plus it's a lot of, again, cooking separate meals. And that's the one thing I definitely like, was every meal was pre-planned out. They told you what to make. They told you what you could use, what you couldn't use. It was very detailed. So I liked that. It's just now I just don't have the time to dedicate to it. But again, everybody is different. So those are the two people as far as diet and cleansing. Generally, we're supposed to clean out seasonally, but if you're brand new and this is the path that you would like, I would thoroughly recommend doing a physical cleanse as well as just starting out with all your spiritual work and doing your research. So I'm going to post this later on YouTube, and then I'm going to also post it in connection with my blog. If you all have any suggestions, like I know I need to do a video on how to set up altars, and yeah, that was the next one I was thinking of. So let me know if there are other things that you all are interested in having me talk about, so that I can, research it and get it together. I think for 2019, I would like to commit to doing live videos on Sundays about just, again, being a Kemite in 2018. What does that look like? Not everybody is a priest. Not everybody's called to be a priest, so, and I think that when it comes to just being on the internet, I don't see enough from people who are not priests just kind of talking about what it looks like and how being a Kemite looks in everyday. Like, I don't have to have a battle about Medu Nectar every second. I don't have to argue about history. Like, that's every different things for different people, but that's not what it's really about. So if you have any topics, questions that you want me to kind of address, let me know, and I will do my best to do that. So in the meantime, I am going to sign off, and I wish all of you peace and blessings for 2019. For this Gregorian New Year change, something, however you want to put that. And I will see you all hopefully next week. Dua for your patience and listening, and Shemiyam Hitab.